Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fizz up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess. What's happening?
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing this morning? Good morning. I'm hoping to have a guest stop through. He is a buddy of mine, longtime Jets fan, lifelong Jets fan. I'm not sure he had an appointment this morning. Hopefully he has time to stop through, but we'll see. We'll see. I hate them stinking, rotten, no good freaking Jets. We got that Monday night, and hopefully my buddy can stop through and give us a feeling of how Jets fans are feeling about this season, about their new head coach and Aaron Glenn, their quarterback, Justin Fields. But yeah, we'll get into that. Hopefully he has time to stop by. Good morning, Michael. What's up? What's up, brother? What is up? Another day, another Dolphin drama-filled set of press conferences yesterday. Our quarterback, our $212 million quarterback, continues to, he continues to like the rubberish, the garbage flow from his lips. He doesn't know how to. If Tua could learn to shut up sometimes, I swear to God. So we'll get into that. We'll get into the preview to the Monday night game, Dolphins Jets. We'll be revealing our rivalry jerseys. We revealed them already, but we'll be wearing the rivalry jerseys for the first time. Give me your opinion on those. We'll break down this game. But first, we had Thursday night football, NFC West showdown, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. This game, I felt like Seattle was in control for much of this game. Arizona had a comeback in the fourth quarter. Of course they did, because why wouldn't they? Because I had a certain amount of money on FanDuel, and here comes the Arizona Cardinals to ruin my night. But yeah, a late fourth quarter push by Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., which Marvin Harrison Jr. for 3 quarters looked absolutely horrible. Him and Kyler Murray were not on the same page. He looked like an absolute bust, in my opinion. But then got it going in the fourth quarter and showed why he was a top pick. You know what I mean? He showed why he was a top wide receiver option coming out of the draft. But for 3 quarters, they were not on the same page. They were not. Kyler Murray was throwing here and Marvin Harrison Jr. was over there. Absolute horrible wide receiver connection. What up, Sean? What up? T4L305. What up? I hope the Jets win 30-0. I can never hope that. I can never hope that the Jets win. Listen, it's one thing to want to get that draft pick, but to have the Jets beat us, and especially 30-0, I'd never want to see us get demolished like that. Never. Michael Lombardo says, sorry to say, Big C, no faith in this team and coaching staff, and I'm very disappointed in this year. Michael, I'm not gonna shade that. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for the way that you feel. Because I feel that way. I feel that way. I feel let down by this front office. I feel let down by this football team. It's not even necessarily the players too much. It's the fact that we went into the season with so many holes on this team and we just failed to address them. We failed to address them. They had to have known, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, everyone had to have known that this was a possibility. Joe, stop it, brother. Wait, Michael K can take that shit somewhere else. Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about last night's game. We won't spend a whole lot of time on it. Here we go. Seattle Seahawks end up winning 23-20. Again, they were up. They had an opportunity to ice the game, end the game. A missed field goal gave the Cardinals opportunity. The Cardinals drove down the field, got the late touchdown, but then Seattle was able to get the ball down the field and kick a field goal to win it. Oh, shoot. Sam Darnold was 18-26, 242 yards and a touchdown. Pretty efficient numbers. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 81 yards. He got a penalty and was pulled out for a little bit. That allowed Zach to come in and get 12 carries for 39 yards, only 3.2 a carry. He got the touchdown, though. Sam Darnold had a big run for 24 yards. And Jackson Smith, where was he at the first part of this game? He was nowhere to be found, and then he came on strong. Jackson Smith, Najigma, 4 catches, 79 yards, but he had nothing in the first 3 quarters either. He was definitely the fourth quarter. He just came out of nowhere and made a bunch of plays for this football team. And then let's take a look at the Cardinal stats. One thing this game that was painful to watch, Kyler Murray, 27-41, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like I said, the first 3 quarters, Kyler Murray wasn't doing anything. That fourth quarter, though, he had turned it on and got his team into a position that they could win the football game. They weren't able to pull it out, but a very good fourth quarter by Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyler Murray had 5 carries, 41 yards. Benson taking the place of the injured James Conner, had 8 carries, 35 yards, 4.4 yards a carry. I felt like they should have got him the ball more. That Greg Dortch, the wide receiver number 4, he's a very shifty guy. They need to get him the ball more. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 6 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. McBride, 7 catches, 52 yards. I like McBride a lot. He's a really good tight end. And Dortch, 4 catches, 35 yards. Again, get that kid the ball more. He is very shifty. He's electric with the ball in his hand. One thing that this game was made very painful for me and it just pissed me off at Chris Greer even more was, did you guys see Calais Campbell out there getting sacks? And you know what I mean? Calais Campbell still playing at such a high level, and the Miami Dolphins absolutely blew it by not bringing him back. Absolutely blew it. What, through 3 games, Calais Campbell's already got 4 sacks. Calais Campbell already got 4 sacks. You know what I mean? The guy's still playing at such a huge level. And you could have brought him back to mentor Kenneth Grant. Zach Sealer wouldn't be playing out of position more than half his snaps. What up, Cap? What up? Like, for real, like, why did we not bring Calais back? And it's not like he got a crazy deal with the Arizona Cardinals. And I truly believe if we would have matched that, he would have stayed right here. I believe if we would have matched the money, he would have stayed here. I felt like he felt disrespected. I felt like he didn't feel like we appreciated him. And obviously, Chris Greer didn't buy the contract that he offered him. There's still guys available right now in free agency that we could go get to help our team, and still we're not doing anything, making no moves. The cornerback room is just a disaster, not only because of a lack of talent, but players are going down left and right. They have been all, training camp and into the season. Cater Kohu, Artie Burns, Storm Duck, Ethan Bonner. Who else is out right now? Jason Marshall Jr. It's just crazy to me that, oh no, it's all right. We're okay. No, we're not. We're not okay. We're 0-3. We're 0-3 with one of the worst defenses in all of football. What up, Crazy Dolphin? Yeah, hit that like button for me. Help a brother out. What up, Blake? What up? All right, so yeah, Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals. That is who's going to win that division? I don't know. Everybody in that division looks like they're competent. I think the Rams are going to end up winning the NFC West. They looked really good against the Eagles again. They should have won that football game, in my opinion. I don't trust the 49ers with all their injuries. Seattle's playing really good football right now. But if you watch the show for any amount of time, you know that I don't trust Sam Darnold. But yeah. Miller says maybe if you bring back Campbell, you don't hedge the money to give Sealer his extension. Should have spent the money before Sealer did his cash grab. He should have did something. We should have brought Calais back. Absolutely. There's no reason we didn't. Besides greed. Besides the fact that we always want to get someone on the on the cheapest deal possible. And it's absolutely retarded. So the Miami Dolphins have the New York Jets coming to town, a battle of two 0-3 teams, the basement dwellers of the AFC East. I don't know how the pain that I feel from saying that is real. Let's get into the injuries so far this week. Dolphins injuries yesterday. Storm Duck did not practice with his ankle injury. Jason Marshall Jr. did not practice. He's still dealing with a hamstring. Limited practice. Jalen Waddle, he's still dealing with that shoulder injury from week 2. And tight end Darren Waller, that hip injury. But Darren Waller should be making his debut this week. Jalen Waddle should be playing unless he suffers a major setback. Full practices. Afeni Malafanu is back. So we get our safety back. Richard says, is Kenneth Grant a bust so far? Listen, we got to stop labeling players as busts through 3-4 games of a career. That's far too early. Do you want your guy to come out and show out early? Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. But some people take a little bit more time. You know what I mean? What are we talking about? A bust after 3 games? We're ready to wash our hands with players after 3 games. That's just, I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy talk to me, and I just don't understand it. Players used to get 3-4 years, not 3 games. 3 games. Crazy Dolphin says, Big C, I know football injuries are normal, but for the past few years, our players' injuries are getting worse. There is more going on in our organization than we know. Listen, I've said this, that, you know, I understand every team suffers injuries. I understand that every team suffers injuries, but you're absolutely right. The last 3-4 years, it just seems like the amount of injuries that our team has suffered has just been astronomical. 2023 hurt so bad because I felt like that was the year. That was the year that we had a chance to do something special. We had an opportunity to do something special, and we just were decimated by injuries. Though, of course, the one year that Tua stays healthy, everyone else on this team gets hurt, and we end up losing in the wild card round. We had a 4-5 game lead on Buffalo for the division, and they had a healthy Josh Allen too. And we squandered that away. We ended up losing the division the last week of the season to Buffalo at home on a kickoff return. But that year, every player on our offensive line was hurt. We didn't have a pass rusher in the building that wasn't hurt. We were bringing guys in off the street. Javon Holland had 2 bad legs. Ramsey, Hill, Waddle, they were all dealing with injuries. 2023 is that year, the year of woulda, shoulda, coulda. Yeah, I don't know if it's what's in the water. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it does seem like this team does have a crazy amount of injuries. Well, the thing is with James Daniels is that I'm hearing he's not even in the building. For a guy that's supposed to be returning after week 4, you would think he'd be in the building. You think he'd be around, and there's been no sight of the guy. So I'm worried that this injury is more serious than we initially thought. I would not be surprised if if James Daniels is out longer than 4 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking another 4 weeks. If we're lucky. If he tore his pec, we could be talking about the season. We could be talking about the season. I mean, Richard, if he tore it and he needs surgery, absolutely, that's the season. That's the season. I'm not sure how long sprains take to recover. I would say probably more than 4 weeks. I'm not a doctor, but James Daniels isn't even in the building. He hasn't even been around the team, so that's very concerning. And I don't see him coming back after 1 week. I don't see him being back after 1 week. Jets injuries, did not practice. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., their cornerback, he has an ankle injury and did not practice. Defensive end Jermaine Johnson with an ankle. He's probably not gonna go. He's a pretty good pass rusher, so that's a bonus for us. Limited practice for the Jets. Safety Tony Adams with a hip. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds hamstring. Running back Kene Nagagwai hamstring. I know I messed that name up. And defensive tackle Jay Tufali has a hamstring injury. All those guys are probably going to go. And then the most important one, who was a full practice but is still in the concussion protocol, is Justin Fields. Justin Fields still in the concussion protocol, but I think he'll be cleared by Monday. And I do think Justin Fields will be on the field for the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. So I pose that question to you. Would you rather play Justin Fields? Would you rather have Justin Fields under center? Or would you rather have... Man, I be having the craziest brain farts. The backup quarterback for the Jets, I know his damn name. I picture his face and all that. It's crazy. Help me out. What's the Jets backup's name? Went to Virginia Tech. Played for the Bills, the Jets. The brain farts are real. If you don't write something down because no, it's not Russ Wilson. No. Not Russ Wilson plays for the Giants. Man, Tyrod Taylor, thank you so much. Jesus, Tyrod Taylor. Would you rather have Justin Fields under center or Tyrod Taylor? Listen, this might sound crazy, but I think I'd rather have Justin Fields under center. I think I'd rather have Justin Fields. Justin Fields is more dynamic, and yeah, we have issues with the running quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong, but Tyrod Taylor is just the better all-around quarterback. He can beat you with his arm. He has a beautiful deep pass, and with our secondary the way it is, I think I'd rather play Justin Fields. I think I'd rather just, if I was the defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, I would pull out that zero blitz, the Brian Flores special, and I would just bring the house at Justin Fields. I would just bring the house at that boy and just put him under crazy pressure. Richard says, without calling Grant and Savanaya a bust, have they been disappointing so far? Without a question. Without question, they've been disappointing. More so Savaiinaya, more so Jonah. He has been more disappointing than Kenneth Grant. If you go back and watch the film, Kenneth Grant has made some plays. He's done some positive things, but Jonah is the worst rated guard in all of football. Just Jonah is the worst rated guard in all of football. Webb and Sims were good from day one. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get those players. Not all players are going. You know what I mean? Membu for the Jets, day one. He's been putting up all pro numbers on the offensive line. He's looking like an all pro. And I really wanted Membu too. I wanted Membu bad. But we knew he wasn't going to be there. Someone was going to snatch him up. Because Membu could have played. Membu was a real tackle option, if not an all-pro guard. Crazy Dolphin says, Richard, players have to have time to develop. Some do develop quickly and some don't. Christian Wilkins develops slowly with us. And that's true. That's true. Does anyone else remember when we played Fields? Our coach was yelling at him to stop running, laugh out loud. We lost that game, by the way. Are you sure we lost that game? I know he had a huge game, but are you sure we lost? So is it coaching or bad draft analysts? I think it's probably both. I think it's probably both. I mean, I think Kenneth Grant has all the potential in the world. I really do. Jonah, he's been really bad. Jonah's been really bad. Are they fixable? Sure. I think, is it fixable? Sure. You get the right coaching in there. I'm sure he's got talent. But yeah, not a whole lot of injury. Of course, you got the guys that are on injury reserve and stuff, but not a whole lot of injuries for the Monday's game. Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa yesterday's press conference. And man, the shit that comes out this guy's mouth, right? The things that come out of Tua's mouth just had me scratching my head. First, Tua was asked about some comments that Cam Newton made about Tua Tagovailoa, and Tua says he doesn't follow social media, this, that, and the third. But Tua he gets very emotional anytime someone says something negative about him. He gets in his emotions. He acts real feminine when someone says something about him. Cam Newton made the comment that he needs to play better. He needs to produce more because of what his contract is. Because of the amount of money that he makes, he needs to be better. Because he makes more money than Patrick Mahomes and this Jalen Hurts and this player and that player, that he needs to up his performance. And I guess everybody can play quarterback, though. It's easier to sit there with a clicker in your hand and do a podcast and this, that, and the third. Whoa. First off, Cam Newton has played football. Cam Newton's played football. So I don't, you know what I mean? And honestly, Cam Newton has accomplished higher highs in the game of football than Tua Tagovailoa has. Cam Newton's been an MVP in the NFL. Cam Newton has taken his team to a Super Bowl. Cam Newton has won multiple playoff games. So for Tua the, I mean, for Tua to act like Cam Newton doesn't know what he's talking about, and I don't know if he's necessarily talking about Cam Newton or, you know, obviously Cam Newton's the one that made the comments, and that's the reason it was brought up. But the reporter did say, you know, that's what people say when criticizing him or when they're talking about him turning the ball over, is they talk about, hey, you're making $53 million a year. Which why wouldn't you bring that up? Why wouldn't you bring up how much he's compensated? If you're compensated like one of the top quarterbacks in the league, you should perform like one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Right? You should, right? But no, the market is the market. But come on, that shit is bullshit. It's bullshit that Chris Greer fell for that. Mike McDaniel went above Chris Greer's head to Stephen Ross and got this contract done. Look what it did to this franchise. Now, do I think a lot of this is, I think Cam Newton's salty. I think Cam Newton's salty. I think Cam Newton sees certain players in this league. Cam Newton feels like he's better than certain players in this league. Cam Newton's salty that he doesn't have an NFL job right now when players like Tua Tagovailoa do. And, you know, and I think Cam Newton at this point is better than Tua? No, I don't think so. Cam Newton's been washed for quite a few years. But Cam Newton's not an old man. Cam Newton, in his mind, thinks he should still be on an NFL roster. And then I think Cam Newton's jealous of the dollar amount that these players make now. I think Cam Newton, the most money he ever made in a single season was $34 million. Tua Tagovailoa makes $20 million more a season. 20 more million a season. So I think Cam Newton is bitter at the game of football, and he likes to take it out on certain players that he feels like he's better than. But what he said isn't wrong. Cam Newton is not wrong on this. Cam Newton is not wrong. Tua Tagovailoa should be performing at a higher level based upon his salary. And the NFL needs to get back to that. The NFL needs to get back to paying a player what they're worth, not the next player up gets the highest contract in NFL history. They need to get away from that. They need to steer away from that. It is a bad way of doing business. It leaves a lot of teams with mediocre quarterbacks making large sums of money that it just destroys a franchise. Patriots, Cam Miller, stop it. Miller, you don't have to go so far off a ledge to get your point across. To say that you would take Patriots Cam Newton over Tua, that is an asinine statement. If you want to say prime Cam Newton, okay, I get it. But to say that you take Patriots Cam Newton, that's a bogus statement, brother. J Tree says Jets coming for blood Monday night. Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, Patriots Cam was garbage. That's what I'm talking about. When you say comments like that, it makes me question every other comment you make. You know what I mean? That's why you got to keep it. You can't make those off the wall comments because it makes everything else you say less believable. You know what I mean? Injuries and lack of O-line depth might have held the Dolphins in 2023, but Tua choked away big games in the fourth quarter and could not beat any of the upper echelon teams in the games of importance. Irving, again, those weren't just Tua Tagovailoa. If you go back and watch those games, first off, that Philly game that we played that year, the refs absolutely screwed us in that game. I don't care what you say. The Philadelphia Eagles did not get called for one penalty. There was absolutely a mugging that took place, a defensive pass interference that we were getting ready to go in and score on that took place. What about the drop passes by Tyreek Hill against good teams? What about the Tyreek Hill consumption that happened against the Kansas City Chiefs that year? With the fumble and the return for a touchdown, and you know what I mean? What about the punt return against the kick? It was either a punt return or a kickoff return against Buffalo the final week of the season. Was that Tua too? Now, Tua deserves his criticism. Don't get me wrong. Tua does deserve his criticism. Even the Dallas game where we kicked all the field goals, Tyreek dropped a touchdown pass, a long touchdown pass. That it wouldn't have just been a bunch of field goals. You know what I mean? So he does deserve his amount of criticism. He does, absolutely. But to act like it was all Tua, I mean, yeah, Irving, I mean, but we all know that one play or one circumstance can change the whole football game. Maybe they wouldn't have been thrown in that position. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to protect Tua, but we got to not, because we get good, bad quarterback play, that doesn't dismiss everybody else that plays bad too. What about the Titans game where, Bradley Chubb takes his helmet off and chucks it, and you know what I mean? Like, and gave them the first down. And I mean, it is what it is. And I'm not here to change your mind at this point. Again, I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is the answer at quarterback. I think a change needs to be made. Not only does he lack the physical skills now, mentally, I think he's damaged. I think he's damaged. I think that's just a weird coincidence. You know what I mean? If you go through and digest everything, you're going to find situations, but again, I think Tua does need to be replaced. At this point, we need to move on. We need to find a quarterback that is not gonna throw the game away in the fourth quarter, that we can rely on when times get rough. Tua turning his back to the line of scrimmage and running 5 yards deep before turning around when he didn't have any pressure was a real head scratcher last week. Absolutely. That's why I'm saying that he's seeing ghosts. He's seeing ghosts right now. I said that the other day, that he's seeing ghosts. No, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's good, Big C? Just joining in. What a Monday we got coming up. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this should be our first win. I think we're a more talented team than the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I think the Miami Dolphins are a more talented team than the New York Jets. But before we get into this game anymore, another thing in this press conference, though. Now Tua's making excuses, saying that he's damaged goods. Now he's damaged goods, but you weren't damaged goods and you wanted every dollar you could possibly squeeze out of this franchise, right? He's talking about his ankles. Oh, they're not the same as when I was in Alabama. I'm really feeling the ankle surgeries. I'm really feeling this surgery. I'm really feeling that surgery, the hip. Last week it was Josh Allen can do this really good that I can't do. Josh Allen can really do this phenomenal that I can't do. I can't do the things that Josh Allen can do. He's making the case for why Chris Greer should get fired. He's making the case why Mike McDaniel should get fired. He's telling us, he's telling Chris Greer, he's telling Stephen Ross, he's telling the fan base, he's telling the media, hey, I'm injured. I'm not the player I used to be. I'm dealing with ankle injuries, hip injuries, head injuries, and I'm not as good as Josh Allen. So why are we paying him more than Josh Allen? He's telling us he's damaged goods. Yeah, he's one of the highest paid players in the NFL. Make it make sense. Come on, man. Tua robbed us. He straight, you know what I mean? He straight went in with no lube. And this mofo last year, market is the market. Market is the market. Come on, man. Well, no, well, we all know he's not as good as Josh Allen. We know, we see it, we watch it every week. But that doesn't mean you got to come out and, polish the man's knob. Finspin says, get ready for a streak if we win Monday. This team is all about streaks. Yeah, we've lost a lot of games in a row. We've won a lot of games in a row. I said it last week. I absolutely could see us, going on some kind of run. We have winnable games coming up. We got the Jets. We got Carolina, Atlanta, Cleveland. I know that the Chargers are 3-0 right now, but they got to come all the way from the West Coast. We could upset the Chargers. I could see us upsetting the Chargers. The Chargers are a good football team, but I could see us upsetting the Chargers. I don't think it's unrealistic. We almost upset the Buffalo Bills. Big C Tua is also saying I got paid, and that I have no faults. Tua is just a backup quarterback at this point, maybe a journeyman starter for teams that are rebuilding and have no starting quarterback. I mean, Irving, I think when his time is done here, that's absolutely the best that he's going to get. No one's going to ever trust their franchise to Tua Tagovailoa ever again. I mean, you can't. With the amount of injuries that he's suffered, that's why he's going to be an untradeable asset for us. There's no way we can trade him with his contract unless we ate most of the money. Unless we ate most of the contract. I mean, maybe let's say something happened to Bo Nix, or Bo Nix has a really bad sophomore year, and maybe Sean Payton trades for him because he's got some of that Drew Brees He's got some of that Drew Brees in him. But again, you're gonna have to eat most of that cap if you want to make a trade for him. But who comes out and says that to the public? Who comes out and says, I'm damaged goods? I'm not the player I was when I was drafted. I'm not the player I was when I was drafted. My ankles aren't the same. My hips not the same. Josh Allen is such a better quarterback than us. It's just, I don't know. It's not something I want from my quarterback. And I definitely don't want to hear this. Why, why weren't you, and I know why, but you weren't saying that shit last year when you won that contract. You was just like, the market is the market. Why weren't you saying, I'll take $30 million a year because my ankles aren't as good. I'm feeling the surgeries. My hip's not as good. I'm feeling the hip. I'll take $30 million because Josh Allen makes $50 million and I'm not as good as Josh Allen. I mean, of course he's not going to say that. He wants to get all the money he can get, right? But that's what Chris Greer should have been saying to Tua. Chris Greer should have been saying that to Tua. Listen, Tua, we're only going to give you 30. We're not giving you 53 because you're not as good as Josh Allen, because you got bad hips, because you got bad ankles, because you got a history of head injuries. Tua's saying that about himself now, but Chris Greer should have been saying that to Tua last year. And that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, Dolphins offense ranking yards. They're 23rd in the NFL with 281. Passing, they're 21st at 192 a game. Rushing, they're 26 with 89.7. Scoring, they're 25th at 18.7 points a game. The Jets defense is 22nd in the NFL with 340 yards given up. 14th in passing yards given up, 207. 23rd in rushing yards given up with 133 yards a game. And 29th in scoring with 31 points a game given up. So this Jets defense is giving up points, right? We can go out there and we can score on this Jets defense. There's no excuse that our offense doesn't score on the Jets. They're giving up 133 yards on the ground. We should be able to run the football, hopefully. They do got that defensive tackle who was a stud, Quentin Williams. He is an absolute monster. He's going to be a problem for Aaron Brewer, because Aaron Brewer is an undersized center. Quentin Williams is a big, strong defensive tackle, one of the best in the league. And the way that Jonah's playing right now, that could be an issue right up the middle. Dolphins defense, 26th in yards given up at 370 yards a game. Passing, 21st, are giving up 225 yards passing a game. Rushing defense, they're 25th with 145 yards a game. Scoring, they're dead last at 32.3 yards a game. This defense has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. This defense has been atrocious. We're 31st and third down, giving up third down conversions. 51.9% of the time we're giving up first downs on third down. 51.9% of the time. That's 31st in the league. They're not getting off the field. They're not forcing teams to punt. We started off the season with 12, 13 drives in a row where we gave up points. That's not a formula for winning football games. Michael Lombardo says, if McDaniel doesn't give up on the run. And that's the thing. We're running the ball really efficiently. We're one of the best rushing average teams in the NFL. We're just not running at high enough clip. We're not giving the ball to our running backs enough. We're not giving the ball to our running backs enough. Achane needs to see 20 carries. Ali Gordon, 15 carries. We need to be running the ball 35 times. 35 times we need to run the football. Anthony Weaver has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Right now, our offense has got the 13th most yards per carry in the NFL. And they went down a little bit against the Jets. We were in the top 5, I believe. Or it went down a little bit against the Bills. My fault. We were top 5. We're at 13th right now, but that's still very good. We need to run the football. We need to run the football. And then you got the Jets offense. They're 26th at 271 yards a game. Passing, they're 31st. So they're not giving up a lot of passing. They're not getting a lot of passing yards. Of course, with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not a great passer. Justin Fields is not a great passer. Do not let him come in and look like Donovan McNabb. Don't let him come in here and demolish us with his feet and his arm. Don't let that happen. Rushing, they're 10th at 127 yards a game. Again, a lot of that's to do with Justin Fields. Scoring, they're 16th with 23 points per game. So they can put up points. They can put up points. They're right around the middle of the middle, right there at 16. But they can score points, 23 points per game. Dolphins defense has given up a league high 32.3 points per game. The defense needs to play better. Kenneth Grant needs to play better. Zach Sealer needs to play better. Our linebackers got to play better. The Jets are going to make Tua throw the ball, I think, Big C. Well, if they do, we got to take advantage. And Tua can take advantage. As long as he's not seeing ghosts. He's got to stay in there and he's got to make the throws. Finspin says, I don't give a crap what Tua has done. We did not make our first defensive stop of the season until the kneel downs right before halftime of the Pats game. Josh Allen wouldn't be able to overcome that. I agree. That's why Tua he can't get all the hate. He deserves a portion of it. He does. He absolutely does. But everybody can't just put all of it on Tua. Yes, he's the highest paid player on this football team. He is the quarterback of this team. So he gets a good share of it. But he is not the only issue with this team. Miller, stop being so damn negative. Stop being so negative. Did the Browns beat the Packers? Does that mean that the Browns are better than the Packers? Does that mean that the Browns are going to beat You know, the Browns beat the Packers this past week, but the Packers beat the Lions. Does that mean that the Browns are going to beat the Lions this week? None of that matters. None of that matters. Did you watch what the Jets did against the Bills? They scored 3 points, right? We played the Bills close. It's all about matchups. It's all about matchups, Miller. Just because the Jets came close to beating the Bucs doesn't mean the Jets are going to beat us. Come on. Again, Miller, think before you speak. Dolphins offense are 23rd in giveaways. We have yet to get a takeaway on defense. No takeaways on defense. No takeaways on defense. We're 20th in net yards per attempt. Again, throwing way too many screens, throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. We need to knock that shit out. We're 25th in drives ending in a score. We need to score more points. We need to get the ball down and score more points. Key matchups in this game Monday night. I got Garrett Wilson versus cornerback Rasul Douglas. Rasul Douglas hasn't been horrible for us. Probably been our best defensive back so far. I would like to see Juju Brents get some more playing time. I think the kid's got a lot of talent. I'd like to see what this kid got. But Rasul Douglas on Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I don't know if he's a top 10 receiver, but he's a really good wide receiver. Garrett Wilson's a really good wide receiver. Garrett Wilson is 7th in PPR grades. He's 9th in the league in yards at 229 and 7th in touchdowns with 2 touchdowns. Rasul Douglas PFF grade is 71.8. That's 30th overall in corners. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's better than what I thought we were going to get from Rasul Douglas. He's 91st in passer rating allowed at 78.9. So you'd like to see him improve on that. But he's been our best corner. We gotta limit what Garrett Wilson does to us. We gotta limit what Garrett Wilson does to us. Double team if you got to. But don't let Garrett Wilson beat you. Don't let Justin Fields get comfortable throwing to Garrett Wilson. These two were college teammates. They got chemistry with each other. Don't let them two get going. Don't let them two get going. Don't give us false hope, Big C. The Jets are implying a new D and O, so of course things take games to get. We're playing the same O and D from last year, so no excuse from us. I'm not giving this team an excuse. Where did I give us an excuse? Where did I give us an excuse at? Let me know where the excuse was. Another key matchup is Breece Hall versus Tyrell Dodson. Breece Hall, he's got a bunch of talent. I think he's only averaging 52 yards per game, though. It's more so us starting this running game as a whole. We got to slow this rushing attack down. They're 10th in the league in rushing with 127 yards a game. Tyrell Dodson is probably our best run stuffing linebacker. We can't count on our defensive line right now. Tyrell Dodson's got to get in there and make the stops. Dodson's got to get in there and make the stops. He's first in the league as far as linebackers go and solo tackles with 29. He's been pretty good. But he needs to be better. He needs to be better. We need to stop the run if we're going to beat the New York Jets. Force Justin Fields to pass the football. That is the weakness of his game. We cannot let the Jets run all over us. Make Justin Fields beat us through the air. Don't allow them to run the football all over us, because then that opens up the pass. It just does. Another key matchup, Sauce Gardner versus Tyreek Hill. Sauce Gardner versus Tyreek Hill. We need Tyreek Hill to have a big game. We need Tyreek Hill to be the best player on this team, which he is. Tyreek Hill is the best player on this team. Now, I know a lot of you will say maybe it's HN, maybe, you know what I mean? I still think Tyreek Hill is the best player on this team. He's got 15 catches, 198 yards, and a touchdown so far this year. Get him the ball. Let him make plays with the ball in his hand. Let him spread this defense apart so Ollie Gordon can run it up the middle, so HN has rushing lanes. Let's get Tyreek involved early and often. Get Tua comfortable. Get Tua feeling confident back there, completing passes to Tyreek. We just need Tyreek to soak up the sauce, let the others eat. Listen, I think if Tyreek's involved, that it will open up things for Jalen Waddle. That will open up things for Malik Washington, which I want to see Malik Washington get more involved also on the offensive side of things. Darren Waller should be making his debut. Again, he's not gonna get a lot of opportunities this week. Probably 20 to 25 snaps. But I think in the long run, Darren Waller can make a positive impact on this game, on this team moving forward. I think he can be that security blanket that Tua has missed so far this season with the absence of Jonnu Smith. But I think Darren Waller making his debut, hopefully he can stay healthy. I think that can be huge. Frank Smith knows how to use Darren Waller. He knows how to use him. Darren Waller's most productive years were under Frank Smith. He's a different type of player than Jonnu Smith. He's not going to get you that yak that Jonnu Smith does. But he can be that security blanket for Tua. When Tua gets frazzled, Jonnu Smith can be that guy that gets him out of trouble. And Irving, that's true. You know, he could do a whole lot for us, or he might not do anything at all. He might not do anything at all. Finspin's making that's a hot take. Waller, 3 third down conversions and a tutty. That'd be nice, right? That'd be nice. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Listen, folks, I'm not afraid of Justin Fields. I know that our team has not looked the greatest. I think we're going to have the rivalry uniforms on. The team's going to be feeling good. It's Monday night. This Jets team is not a good football team. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. I think we have the better team. I think the team's going to be feeling real good wearing them nice rivalry jerseys. I mean, I'm not in love with the rivalry jerseys. I don't know how y'all feel about them, but they're going to be feeling good with the new unis on. I think this team will beat the New York Jets on Monday night. I'm going to take the Dolphins 27 to 17. I'm taking Dolphins 27-17. I'm going to say that Ali gets into the end zone twice. I'm going to say Ollie Gordon gets into the end zone twice. But yeah, I mean, listen, the season's not over. We're 0-3. I know that history says that's a death sentence, but let's take it one game at a time. Hopefully, players return from injury. Hopefully, James Daniels. I'm worried about that injury. I am. I think it's more serious than they're letting us know. But hopefully, he gets back from injury. Hopefully, Austin Jackson get back. Hopefully, Jonah can start playing better. Kenneth Grant's going to get better as time goes on. Players should get better as time goes on. We should only get better as a team as the weeks move forward. So if we can pull off some wins and keep the season interesting, again, we have some winnable games coming up. We have this Jets game. We have Carolina, who hasn't been very good. We got Cleveland, who they got a strong defense, but Joe Flacco is a freaking bum. We got the Falcons, who have been a hot mess. Yeah, we got the Chargers, but the Chargers got to come from all the way on the West Coast. Notoriously, they're not very good when they got to make that trip. So I think we can beat the Chargers. We still got the Patriots again, the Saints, the Jets again. You know, we got still a bunch of winnable games on the schedule. This team has been very streaky the last 4 or 5 years. We lose some games in a row. We win some games in a row. Just last year, we started off poorly, and we were still fighting for the playoffs all the way until the final week. So don't write this team off completely. Is it a long shot? Absolutely. It is a super long shot that the Miami Dolphins are able to turn this ship around and make this season interesting. But can it happen? Absolutely. It can happen. It can happen. Irving says we need to clean house, period. Greer has failed us in the botched rebuild and has built a failing roster with no depth. Irving, I do not disagree. I do not disagree. What up, CB83? What up? But yeah, I should be on later with Mike on the Laces Out Live podcast. Make sure you all I'm not sure, Finsman. But make sure you come check out me and Mike Jones tonight on the Laces Out Live podcast. We'll be doing our weekly pick'ems and breaking down the key games of this week. I think I may go live for this week's game. If y'all want me to go live, let me know. But make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you always know when we're going live. Sometimes it's, not on schedule. But I love you all. I appreciate you all. You guys keep some faith. I know it's hard to do. I know it is hard to do. But continue to show support for your football team. And let's just pray that we can turn the season into a competitive one. I know a lot of you are going to say, hey, that doesn't make sense. Let's lose all the games we can so we can get the best draft pick possible. And listen, a big part of me wants that to happen too. But again, I can't hope for this team to lose. I just can't. I always had that what if in the back of my mind. What if? Maybe something miraculous happens and somehow we just go on this magical all-time run that we win 12 games in a row in a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I know that ain't happening. I know it's not, but I've watched too many movies. That's what it is. Big C has watched too many damn movies, too many Disney movies, too many happy endings, too many movies. Big C has watched too many damn movies. But I love you. I appreciate you. hit that like button. Cap, you're going down in fantasy football. I hope all your fantasy football teams are doing horrible. I want to win all the championships. But I'll see y'all later. Make sure you check out Laces Out live tonight, 7:30, somewhere around there. That's why you got to have your notifications on. But I'll talk to y'all later, and fins up. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.